Alrighty. I'm going to go over my full support control wizard, or what I like to call my Debuff CW. Now, this is really only for those who like to play support role class type. I don't recommend anybody maining this as their one and only in-game character, just because it can be a pain in the butt to do dailies and stuff with. Not saying that you can't do dailies and stuff, but anybody who mains a DC from the old Neverwinter days knows that it was definitely a struggle doing dailies. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and go over the Debuff CW. I'm going to go ahead and go over the boom picks first. Heal boom, obviously power. If you don't have enough armor pin, use the armor pin boon. That's a gimme. When I'm soloing, I run the lifesteal boon. Usually group content like Kaji, Talon, I might run the hit point boon. It just depends. Just for a little more damage. But if you're going to go for survivability, lifesteal, defense isn't going to do anything for you. These are my Sharandar picks. Dreadring. Now for Dreadring, I don't even mess with Rampaging Madness for my support C-dub. It's all about the lifesteal and endless consumption. That's like really, really good for survivability. My Icewind Dale. Underdark. Now, Tyranny of Dragons, I took lifesteal chance for the survivability. That's why I didn't take crit sev. You can take crit sev if your crit's looking really, really good. I try to shoot for at least 70 to 80% crit strike chance, so that way when Chaotic Nexus procs, it's going to put you at crit cap. So 70 to 80 is a really good spot, but I still like the lifesteal. The crit sev's only going to give you a little more damage. It'll also, it's basically just for damage. It may increase your lifesteal because of the damage coming out, but I'd rather just take the 6% increased lifesteal chance, but it's up to you at the end of the day. Maze Engine, last one. Baleful Clutch, that's a gimme. Now, I haven't done any Cholt yet, because like I said, I don't main this as a leading edge endgame. But if I was going to do Cholt, I would do 3 of Tyrant's Terror, 3 in Regen, so Shamanic Grace, and then I would do Soul Siphon for my last pick. If I wasn't going to do Soul Siphon, then I would take Death's Blessing. My comps, since it's a support class, I kind of try to get some stuff with some utility in it. I was running the Dancing Shield. If you want to make this class as what I like to call a budget C-dub, Dancing Shield summoned. I was using that for a long time. That'll give you a bunch of survivability. And Dancing Shield, for those who may not know, if you look down at its powers, the Shield Slam reduces the target's defense. It does a 20% debuff right there. It's really good, and it survives a lot too because it has, I think it's immune to AoE damage. May not even say that. So you could run Dancing Shield as your summon. I went with Tiger just to bring up his offensive capabilities to make it a little easier on killing stuff. I don't have any bondings right now, but normally I have rank 14 bondings in, and then I just have a mixture of companion gear on him. For my enchantments, I just switched recently to Ruthless. It's the newest enchantment that just came out, and that gives you crit strike and recovery. Otherwise, I would be running Silveries in here, just for the recovery. Need lots of recovery with this build. Lots of recovery. Other companions, I'm running the Dire Wolf. That active bonus 5% chance to interrupt your target. As a CW, proc that a lot. It's really, really good for Taunt runs. Kaiji runs, you can interrupt the targets pretty frequently, and that'll increase survivability of you and the team. I kind of like that as a staple companion, but then again, it's up to you. I forgot what her name is. She seems to be working out pretty good. Just a little extra damage. It's nothing to wow about or write home about, but like I said, I just try to pick stuff that's utility. This is the Death Salad or Death Salati. This is pretty good for boss fights. Just a little extra damage. It's not bad. And then the Cankerous Mage for the control bonus. It's really good for trash mobs and whatnot. I have some other companions that I was using. I messed around with Zuna for a little bit to try it out. It's okay. I wouldn't buy it with AD. I got it for free from the last event. Here's the Red Salati. I was using this as well. So, like, if I was to run, say, Spell Plague, there's a lot of trash mobs in there. I would go ahead and swap out some of my comps. And probably run something a little more like this. This is the Lightfoot Thief from Gambit. It does pretty good for trash mobs. It's not too bad. If I wouldn't use that, then the Willet of Bliss is really good too. That'll give you some survivability and also increase your freeze control and a little bit of damage when you freeze them with the control bonus. Got the Raptor. When I'm running with guys, everybody's got Raptors. I got a Raptor for him too. For team comp, obviously. Got an Owlbear Cub, which was working really, really good until they put that patch, that internal cooldown. Now, not so much. If you wanted to, you could run with traditional DPS companions, your Fire Archon, your Siege Master, and stuff like that. It all just depends on what you want to do. Like I said, if you want to stick to like a budget, C-Dub, the Wolf is really cheap. The Red Salati came out of the C-Dub pack, so that's the reason why I got that. The Wisp I got out of a lockbox, so I kept it for that. Cankerous Mages are pretty cheap. I think you can get those for next to nothing. Yeah, you can get a Grey Wolf for $444.80. Can't really go wrong with that. See how much a Death Salad is. $6,880. That's not bad. So you got some options here. Let's go over to feats. These are the feats that I went with. There's a couple variants you can go with. Originally I was running more into Icy Veins, but the trash mobs were dying really, really quick, so I kind of felt like it was a waste. So what I did is I dropped the points from that and just added more into Frigid Winds, so if they do get frozen. But nowadays, the way everybody's killing trash mobs so quick, I don't think either one of them are doing me any good. But you have to at least put 10 points into their oppressor tree, mainly for the twisted immolation. The bottom piece, the debuff from your combustive action class feature now lasts 2.5 seconds longer. That's the main thing of what you're going for from their oppressor tree. Everything else, you're going down to the renegade tree. You can do a little variance. I run this full time, but you can do an AoE specific one, and you could run Masterful Arcane Theft to increase your damage from steal time if you wanted to. And then single target, you could run Phantasmal Destruction. If your crit strike is up pretty high, that's up to you. This is pretty much what I run all the time regardless, so it doesn't really change. Now for race, you're gonna have to be a regular old drow for Darkfire. You're gonna proc that a lot, and it stacks up to I think maybe 3 or 4 times. So that's a pretty good extra debuff right there. Let's see here. For powers, I basically run Rave Enfeeblement on tab always. Do the maximum debuff I can with that. Icy Terrain, Conduit of Ice, and Steal Time. Now the key thing with this setup is high recovery. Okay. Now I'm at 18.9 right now. Now keep in mind I don't have my bondings in. So like the gear wise, what I was running until I changed to the Mastercraft 3 pieces, if you wanted to be budget, you can run a Greater Belt of Wisdom +4. That'll give you some nice recharge speed. And the neck I was running a Lost Mouth neck, just for some armor pin. If you look here on the CW, the Wisdom gives you recharge speed. And then your Int gives you recharge speed. So those are like your 2 main things that you go after. Charisma's like should be your 3rd priority. So when you're making them, you want to target Intelligence and Wisdom as your highest. That's what you want to go for. Specifically Wisdom over Int, because the Wisdom's going to give you action point gain. So your gear choices and stat stuff should look something like that. You should try to get recovery anywhere and everywhere that you can. So let's go over my gear. For the helmet, I'm running the Primal Raid, just because, like I said, this was a budget CW, and I had the capability to farm Tawn, so giving him Primal Gear was easy for me. So, Vivified Raid Helm, because it's got recovery on it, that's why I went with that. Chest piece, I took the Primal Raid, Power Crit, because like I said, I like to get to about 70 to between 70 to 80% crit strike. Gloves, I took the Assault Gloves for armor pin. Weapons, the weapons I was using the old school burning set from Elemental Evil campaign because of the set bonus on it. Recently I went on ahead and went to the primal weapons just because of the more stats on it. So that's what I went with. They're exalted. As a Master of Flame full support, you will definitely get a lot of runs for Kaji and possibly Tawn. But definitely Kaji. Everybody's looking for a Debuff CW. For boots, I went with the Primal Assault, again because it's got recovery. Shirt and pants, you can go with whatever you want to round out your stats. I haven't upgraded my bottoms yet, so I'm running the Chultan Merchant ones. The shirt, I'm wearing the Primal Paints top right now, but probably better would be the shirt of the Chultan Merchant because you get extra recovery. So that would probably be overall better. running the Fane Sash, because it's got the 1400 recovery on it, and it's got 2 to Wisdom, 2 to Charisma. That's pretty good right there. Marines, I'm wearing one that's Power Recovery, Beaded Restro, and I'm wearing a Raid Ring to bring up my crit. And then my neck piece, I took the Bronzewood Amulet, mainly because 1400 crit, and it's got recovery on it, and it was one of the cheaper pieces of Mastercraft. The offensive enchantment that I'm using Cruels. The Power of Recovery. You could run Silveries, but I got to the point where my recovery is so high that I decided to go ahead and go to Cruels so I could do more damage. Defensive, I'm just running a bunch of random stuff in here. I don't really have anything in particular. If I was going to really do it right, I would probably either run Savages, just because they got hit points and lifesteal, or even Draconics, or Darks for defense slots. Artifacts, in my opinion, the 3 Hearts of the Dragon, and then your last artifact, whatever you can to round about some other stats. I took the Lostmouth Horn because Armor Pin. Armor Pin was really difficult for me as a budget, so that's why I took Lostmouth Horn. But you can use whatever you want. I know that some Debuff CWs aren't running 3 Hearts. I am, because at boss fights I do hit the boss with the Heart of the Black Dragon. So instead of having to wait a minute, I only have to wait 45 seconds to recast. And then of course when you're fighting mobs and stuff, you can keep up Artificer's Persuasion full time, which is just going to boost your recovery more. See, my recovery is almost 23k now. And that's not even, if I had bondings, then it'd be higher than that. Your goal, your main goal for your powers, alright? So you run Combustive Action, alright? Now what that does, every time I pop a daily, I add Smolder, alright? So that's ideally how you're going to add Smolder. You're not going to add it manually. And then I run Swath of Destruction for the debuff. So I come up to a group of mobs, right? First thing I want to do is drop my daily, Icy Terrain. That automatically, Smolder got put on with Oppressive Force, and when I hit Icy Terrain, it turned into Rimfire. At that point, they're max debuff for the most part, the group of mobs. They got Swath and all that other stuff on them. And then if there's a big guy in there, like say a Bone Golem or something, I'll go ahead and target him specifically and hit him with Raven People. So that way he gets even more debuff. Now, what you want to do is you need to be able to drop a daily at least once every 10 seconds. So you need to be able to have your recovery up high enough to be able to do that. If you can drop your daily once every 10 seconds, you're good to go. You no longer have to worry about putting any more into recovery if you don't want to. In my opinion, I feel that you need to be able to do a daily every 10 seconds without the help of any other class, like a DC with Hastening Light or anything like that. You need to be able to do that on your own, in my opinion. With that being said, for armor enchantments, you got a variety here. Similar with like any CW. Soulforge is good. Arc Shield is probably overall best in slot. I wouldn't run a negation, because you're probably going to die anyway. So, Elven Battle isn't bad either. It's something else to consider. For a weapon enchantment, best in slot in my opinion is going to be Plaguefire. Reason being is the CW can maintain max stacks with 100% uptime. So with that being said, you're looking at 12% DR and a 6% damage reduction on boss fights. 100% uptime. if you weren't going to use a plague fart, like say you didn't have one or it's too expensive, you want to go with another support kind of enchantment. Terror, maybe a bronze wood, something of that nature. You could even use a lightning if you wanted to. But lightning's really, really bad now, the way they did the rework on it. So it's kind of situational. I still think plague fire is overall best. The only hand I would probably use if I didn't have a plague would probably be a terror. Let's go over mounts real quick. For mounts, pretty much your traditional setup. Artificial Persuasion, Protector's Camaraderie, Gladiator's Guile, Shepherd's Devotion, Cavalry's Warning. My insignias are kind of like a hodgepodge of stuff in here. I try to put a lot of mastery in here for the extra recovery, so that's probably your go-to. And then I got, like I said, I got like a mixture of other stuff going on in here. But I tried to put as much mastery as I could. Got some dominance in here. So mastery is probably going to be your #1 insignia to go for the recovery. If I couldn't put a mastery in, I would probably do a prosperities, just because of the hit points, just for that survivability. For mounts, for your combat power, Tyrannosaurus Rex is going to be your overall best pick. Other notable mentions would be the Lion, to help out the team for survivability or whatnot. But like I said, this is all about debuff, so that's why the T-Rex, in my opinion, is best in the slot. For equip power, it's Snail, Legendary Snail. Like with the last video, if you can't get a legendary snail, you can always go for the, I don't even have one. You could go for the epic version, gives you 15% AP gain. If you don't have that, then I would do 2,000 recovery. I think that is it. Let's see here. It's my old loadout here. I just want to look at defeats. I'm not even able to equip it. That's pretty much it. Hopefully this helps anybody out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.